All right, it's James Armstrong here, and this is Angry Birds. I've been developing it all quarter long for game physics. Yeah, here we've got the theme song playing, so I've got music. Hopefully it's not too loud. I didn't want it to be too loud for you to hear my dialogue, but I wanted it to be loud enough that you could hear the sound effects that I've got set up. So on my keyboard, I can just turn off the sound and back on. Pretty easily, and that works for the sound effects as well. So, if I just shoot a bird here, make sound effects as it rolls around. But if I turn off the sound effects, then I can shoot a bird and no sound effects will happen at all. Real quick, I'll run over my keyboard controls and in general my user input. So, first of all, spacebar lets me respawn my birds. Whatever stage I'm on, it'll know what stage I'm on and what birds are intended for that stage, and it gives me a fresh batch of those. If I'm short one bird, it gives me that. If I'm short all of my birds, then it'll give me all of my birds. And then my number keys spawn my stages. So here's this stage, stage 1-1 from Milestone 1, stage 1-9, also from Milestone 1. This is a little demo stage that I did so that I could demonstrate punch through, and also just to test explosions, things like that. This is a stage that I tested to show off rope physics. So I wanted a little rope bridge that you would break with a bird. Looks like the blocks are a little bit too heavy right now. Strange bug was working earlier. But anyways, you kind of get the idea. They hang out up here, take out the pigs in the valley below, and then here showing off my helmet pig. And so then other controls I've got here, I can see that I can show you that the camera follows my mouse. So you can see the closer my mouse gets to the edge of the screen, see slowly or quickly will follow my mouse. Slowly, not at all, or very quickly. And it also follows my birds. So there goes my bird. But it'll only follow a bird when it's in flight. So you notice that it stopped following as soon as that yellow bird hit the ground there. So here I can show it flying all the way off screen. See what happens. Yeah. And so another feature, so I have zoom in, zoom out. So I can zoom in on this stuff, and then back out. But it will never let me move off of the screen. So I can never actually move out of the stage. I can't zoom out to a point where I would see beyond the background, which is intentional, obviously. I don't want to have to show off that blank background. So whenever I respawn birds, clears all the smoke trails. If we go back to stage 1-1 here, you can see, I'll show off my smoke trails really quickly. Well, first thing you'll notice in general, particles. My birds spawn particles, my blocks spawn particles. My blocks clearly have damage. And my pigs also have damage. I'll turn the sound back on here, so you can hear that different birds have different sound effects. Yeah, so there's that high-pitched sound. You can see my damaged pig here. And then another feature here is that I've got collision boxes on. So if we just respawn that stage with collision boxes on, you can see everything. Particles look a little bit weird with collision boxes on. Now let's show off these abilities. So there's the bluebird. As you can clearly see, I can split my bluebird. And then my green bird should be able to turn back around. Let's try that again. Alright, wasn't quite able to make the turnaround there, but you can see the idea. And their sprites all change. So whenever the bird takes damage, then it turns into its little knocked out sprite after it's hit. Now let's show off the white bird. So the white bird does an explosion. So with collision boxes, you should be able to see those particles. When the egg drops, when it lands, bam, it fired off those particles all over the place. And then it just gets its gravity turned off and a little force pushing it up, so it's just going to be up there. Flick these guys off, so they get cleaned up automatically if they go off of the screen by a certain distance. And so here's my yellow bird with its speed up powers. Oh, right at the last minute there, really bored into that wood. So yeah, yellow bird can just... That was weird. And so yeah, that was my red bird speed up. And you can see all those individual blocks. All my particles have physics. I'll turn those back off. Let's jump to our demo stage. So here I can show off punch through. Oh, that's weird. But you can see my bird just punched through the first couple layers there. It didn't just bounce off the first one. If it destroys a sheet of glass, it can just keep on going. Yep. And then here is my black bird, which has yet to be shown off. Boom. Exploding. Let's try that again with collision particles. So I'll launch this guy up, and boom. There are his particles just all over the place. Yeah, and then let's show off... So here I've got round blocks. That's another little feature for differently shaped blocks, not just rectangular. My factories can just make whatever shape. Same as the birds, really. Just a different sprite. And then here we've got the helmeted pig. Let's see if we can take this dude out. Yeah, so a lot tougher than a normal pig, but making decent progress here. And boom, pig's dead. Whenever the pigs all die in a single stage, then it moves to the next stage. And in the case of these test stages, there isn't really a progression, so it just moves to an uninitialized state. So everything disappears. Basically, if there are no pigs in a stage, then it just goes blank. I mean, you know, slingshot, well, actually slingshot isn't okay. But yeah, that's the gist of the game. Messing around with Box 2D, figuring out how to get that to work within the game engine that we've got, trying to add all these features, physics-based particle systems, things like that. One of the big challenges particles that I had that I actually didn't wind up achieving the way I'd like to, but a big feature that I think was missing. Wasn't a requirement, but it is that whenever an object explodes, or even just like a bird releases its particles, or any of these blocks release their shards, the issue is that it's releasing those as physics-based particles because you want to set the velocity. You want to be able to have them shoot away from the source. But the problem is that they're generally going to be overlapping whatever their source object is, right? So if a bird emits a bunch of explosion particles, those explosion particles will immediately collide with that bird because they spawn underneath the bird, which means that they don't actually spread out evenly the way that the explosion particles probably ought to. So with a little bit more advanced filtering, right now my particles simply do not collide with other particles. But really, particles should neither collide with other particles or the object that emits them. So, a little bug there, but yeah, overall, pretty happy with the game. And these are my features. So, that's all. That's all for AngryBirds. But it was a great project. So, see you next quarter.